Da det enda en utlending som har blitt rekruttert, og enda en midlertidig ansatt. Og en utlending som akkurat I dag føler seg litt språkdistrahert. So if I speak English part of the time, thank you for your forbearance. But you're all up to the task. The two hats that I'm wearing here today actually have a kind of a connection. On the one hand, I'm here as the head of KIF-komiteen, Komiteen for kjønnsbalanse og mangfold I forskning. And on the other hand, I can never quite take off my hat as the rector of Norway's most urban institution of higher education and Norway's next university. And if you haven't looked at nokut.no or krono.no this morning, you better go do that right now. Thank you. I'm really, really excited about that. Anyway, for a few more months, we're a høyskole, and at this høyskole, HiOA, our most important institutional value is diversity. And one of the ways that that plays itself out, just to illustrate, is in our engagement with refugees. We make mentoring groups consisting of students and refugees who are interested in higher education. Our student clubs visit refugee centers and they offer activities to the residents. We have a special relationship with ILA, integreringsmottak, and I'm very, very sad to have to say that UDI, in their profound lack of wisdom, has just announced that they'll be closing what is surely one of the best functioning integration centers anywhere. This is a terrible, terrible decision that's going to throw 150 people out into the street and back into the psychological state of losing control over their lives. And I encourage you to engage yourself in this important political issue. At HiOA, we also engage refugees as research assistants. We do that in a cooperation with NAV. And we offer supplemental educational programs so that refugees with a degree from their home country can become certified to work in Norway. A few days ago, a young woman from Afghanistan, who I've come to know through these programs, told me about a friend of hers, another refugee, who had talked a while back with an advisor about getting admitted to a medical school here in Norway. It's not possible, she was told. Choose some more applied study like radiography or nursing. And these two young women, they were talking about this experience and they were sharing it with friends, and they realized that many refugees had similar stories. They're being funneled into what we call professional studies programs and away from programs leading to traditionally more prestigious jobs. When they contacted me a few days ago, they were actually trying to figure out how to find funding to do research on this, to find out if these anecdotes actually reveal an underlying pattern in our higher education sector. I haven't found the funding for them yet, so I don't know how systematic this funneling response is, but I do know that the anecdotes remain. I know that the counselors who give this advice, they don't understand what they're doing. They don't appreciate what it means to try to preserve hope when circumstances far beyond your control have forced you to leave your home and to try to build a life elsewhere. And I know for certain that the KIF committee and all of us in this room still have an enormous job to do as we try to convey to a broad range of employees in our sector that there are important advantages to be gained by doing the hard work of actually dealing with people who have different backgrounds. Those kinds of advantages are what we have in mind at the KIF committee when we talk about creating a competitive edge through diversity and gender equality. We want to find ways in which diversity deserves our engagement, not only for reasons of social justice, but because it helps us to do our work better. This is how we think about gender balance as well. We want to find ways in which gender balance and diversity offer this sector a competitive edge. Can we be better at recruiting by focusing on diversity? Can we be better at the work we do by building diverse teams? Can we fulfill our mission to define conditions for the advancement of society without focusing on diversity? What are our challenges in these areas? Some of the central ones that we face regarding inclusion and diversity include attracting and recruiting minority students and women to STEM. It includes reducing the achievement gap between minority students and others. We need to improve recruitment and retention of minority and female research and teaching staff, but in fact, we lose highly qualified men also. We need to increase diversity and inclusion in the production of knowledge and in the teaching methods and the content of our curricula. There's a huge body of research showing that there's bias in many different areas related to these challenges. Fewer female than male staff apply for prestigious competitive funding. When female staff apply, they're less likely to receive highly competitive funding. We saw that in Norway with our recent round of Centers of Excellence. We lose more female staff and minority staff every step of the way, which is just one of many reasons that in-stake stealing aid are a terrible idea, as I've mentioned in many contexts before. Female academics are more likely than men to carry out administrative work and to get extra teaching duties, and the list goes on. This is a serious set of challenges. These are, by definition, situations in which there is bias, and that is making us worse at our work. Universities are vital to global innovation, to the global economy, to solving our global challenges. We produce at universities knowledge that can drive major change, and we're training generations of young people to be future leaders. But to do this, to produce excellent research, to produce excellent educational programs, to produce societal impact, we need to be diverse in terms of student bodies and staff. We need to produce inclusive, multidisciplinary knowledge that can positively affect different groups of people. Yet, all of us struggle to employ an academic workforce and to recruit and retain a student body that represents the population that we serve. It's not representative socioeconomically, not culturally, not with regard to gender or sex or ethnicity or race or disability or sexual orientation. And the result is that opportunities are being missed to advance certain groups of bright young minds through education and to build a pool of staff that we can attract and retain and promote, and that becomes more limited as well. It's our job to produce knowledge also that's innovative and inclusive. The importance of this is most extensively documented related to gender, but the same principles apply to diversity. Without taking sex and gender into account in all phases of the research process, research outcomes may not be equally valid for men and women. We see that in many, many cases in medicine and elsewhere. Multidisciplinary research methods need to be applied to broaden research questions, to broaden analyses, and to support the application of research findings and innovation to the larger global population. This is the kind of thinking that drives the KIF committee. This particular committee right now is ending its 4-year period, and we've had these 4 years to continue our work in gender equality, but we've also expanded to think more explicitly about gender perspectives in research and to start thinking not only about gender diversity, but other kinds of diversity, right now with a special focus on ethnic diversity. In the context of internationally competitive research, maybe in contrast with diplomacy, Norway is punching below her weight. Our investment in Horizon 2020 far exceeds our return, and if we add to that equation the administrative apparatus that has emerged at every single institution to facilitate and manage these projects, then the picture becomes, in my opinion, disturbing. We need much stronger interventions, and we need innovative approaches to improving ourselves. A growing literature suggests that one intervention with substantially under-realized potential is diversity. There are measures that can make a difference. Last week, the KIF committee had the pleasure of hosting Frank Daubin from Harvard here in Oslo. And he studies the effectiveness of interventions to increase women and minorities in leadership positions in the private sector. My guess is that many of his findings apply to the university sector as well. And surely to the high school sector too, but since I'm on my way out of that. Increasing women and minorities in leadership position is not advanced, according to Dobbin, by things that fall under the heading of control. So, bringing up on performance reviews, you didn't meet your targets for women and minorities. That doesn't help. Enhanced grievance procedures so people can complain about being jumped over does not help. Mandatory diversity training, for example, about implicit bias, does not help. All of this, according to Dobbin's research over a few decades. What does help? Well, one thing that helps is harassment training. According to Dobbin, that's because it's about stopping behavior in others, not in yourself, so it doesn't feel like control. Special recruitment is very successful. So if you tell someone in a leadership position to go find a woman or a minority to promote, they do that, and then they get sort of proud of that person. They want them to succeed. They make an investment in their success. That's a positive measure, not control. Mentoring works. It creates relationships, and mentors open doors for their mentees. Diversity committees work, so I hope the government soon names a new KIF committee. And having a diversity manager at your institution works. The key message is that engagement works much better than control, and I think that's an important message to all of us in leadership positions, but I would say it's also a very important message to Forskningspolitisk. Forskningspolitisk has been extremely supportive of the work of the KIF committee to increase women and minorities' career opportunities, and there are even more strategies that I think we can help institutions to employ. I look forward to having the KIF committee and Forskningspolitisk work together on this, but even more than that, I look forward to the day when a young, ambitious woman with a background from a distant and damaged country, with a life story that most of us here today struggle to even imagine, who wants to become a doctor, maybe even a researcher. I look forward to the day when she can walk into a university office in this country and describe her dreams and her qualifications and not be told to look elsewhere, but instead to hear an advisor say, join us, build your life, help build our society, come make us better. You were just the person we were looking for. Thank you.
Det noen spørsmål? Jeg må bare få deg til å si noe litt mer om forankring av det. Du kom jo med mange av tiltakene som vil virke.
Ja.
Det jo ikke helt ny kunnskap, mye av det du sier. Men det jo noe med at det må forankres og det må jobbes med.
Altså ja og nei, ikke sant? Altså vi mange som har jobbet med mange forskjellige tiltak over flere år, ikke sant? Og så at du skulle spørre noen som jobber med dette om å føre opp en liste med 20 mulige tiltak, det kan vi alle sammen gjøre. Men vi vet egentlig ikke veldig, veldig masse om hva som faktisk fungerer, og det som vi begynner å få fra Dobbin. Så det skritt fremover også der i nettopp å finne frem til forskningen som viser hva som faktisk fungerer og hva som ikke faktisk fungerer.
Men, og hvordan det med ledelsens ansvar for at dette skal skje?
Altså, en ting som vi vet om alt av arbeid med kjønnsbalanse og mangfold at investment av toppledelsen helt avgjørende. Så hvis ikke vi rektorer opptatt av dette, så kommer organisasjonen antageligvis ingen vei. Det som så veldig fint i Norge at det veldig, veldig bred aksept for arbeid med likestilling og mangfold, og mange av blant annet rektorene uttaler seg veldig positivt om dette.
Ja, de uttaler seg positivt om det, ja.
Men, de gjør masse. Så en ting som KIF-komiteen gjør at vi farter rundt og besøker forskjellige institusjoner. Vi snakker med dem om hva de holder på med. Vi deler med dem de erfaringene som vi har hentet fra andre plasser. Altså, det få som bare snakker om dette her. Det veldig, veldig masse arbeid som gjøres i forbindelse med kjønnsbalanse. Og så det slik at arbeid med mangfold noen år altså, it's going a little more slowly, men det nettopp det nye mandatet til KIF-komiteen som legger til rette for at flere kan være opptatt av det også.
Hvis det ikke flere spørsmål fra salen, så skal du få løpe av gårde. Tusen takk skal du ha.
Takk.